So this task flows. So basically, this task flow we are going to use to organize and manage the execution of mappings. Okay, mappings along with the other integration tasks. So there are several integration tasks that we have, and how are we going to execute the mappings by setting the dependencies between mapping to mapping. Okay, so whenever we wanted to execute mappings with some kind of a rules along with the dependencies, like first this mapping only should execute, then only the next mapping should execute, or when this mapping is successfully executed, then only the next mapping should execute. Okay, so when we wanted to define the sequence of mappings execution order, or when we wanted to add multiple tasks, let's say this many mappings should execute in parallel, this many mappings should execute in series one after the other, like that. Okay, so when we wanted to define the execution order, so then we are going to use this task flows. Okay, so this task flow, once we create it, we should basically know create these task flows. We should know for what purpose that we are creating, and what is the sequence order of the mappings, what is the sequence of order of the mappings, and what are the different tasks in task flow that we have to use. Okay, so now this task flow also that we will be creating in ISS designer only. Okay, so we just need to drag and drop it. Let me show all of them here. So now go to new, click on new task flows. We have a option of new asset task flows. So these are the different types of task flows that we have. So basically, we have two types of task flows. So this is a traditional task flow. This is a linear task flow. Okay. So in the traditional task flow, where we can add multiple tasks and we can set the dependencies. Okay, we can do error handling, all the stuff. But in the linear task flow, so we can combine all the mappings and we can give the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We cannot execute parallel jobs. We can just execute in series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay. First, let me show the linear task flow. Then I'll go to the normal task flow. So we just need to LTF underscore. We have to use LTF underscore staging. I'm just keeping. Okay. So here we just need to ask that task, that's it. Okay, so which all tasks that we need to add, so we just need to ask to add these tasks, that's it. So let's say I'm adding one task one here, and I can add so one thing we need to make sure, we cannot tag mappings, we can map only the mapping task. So we need to create mapping task for every mapping and we have to use them. Okay, so here we have to set the sequences 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we cannot do any parallel executions. Okay, we can just do only series execution by setting the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first this will execute, then this will execute. So stop on error. Stop on error is the option where whenever there is any error in the mapping, okay, then we need to stop it. Then we need to stop it or we need to continue it. So when we enable the stop on error option, so it will just stop. It will just stop there. Whenever the first error is going to come, so it is going to stop it. Okay, stop on warnings. Stop on warnings is basically, so whenever we see any kind of a warnings, data warnings or any other warnings, so then the mapping has to be stopped. The mapping task has to be stopped when we select this option. If we don't select this option, so this mapping task or this linear task flow, it doesn't matter. So it will continuously execute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like step by step, it is going to execute whether it is succeeded, failed, errored, warning. It doesn't matter to it. So if at all there is a kind of requirement, let's say no, I don't want to continue with the errored task flow. So then we will have to enable this. Okay, I don't want to continue with warning task flow. So then we will have to select these options. So this is depends upon the requirement. We will have to create it. Then email notifications, on failure email notification, warning notification, successful notification. Okay, so we just need to write the content here. Okay, so we can configure the email notifications.
Bhaskar, in the email notification, here we have to specify the body of the email or recipient name means something gmail.com or
To be frank, I'm not all sure. So as per my knowledge, I think we will have to give the recipients to who all they should receive the email notification. So the
okay.
recipients that we will have to give, and the body will be fixed actually. Okay, so that will be coming from IACS with a subject that so the so and so mapping is getting filled, so and so task flow is getting filled.
Okay.
So this is about linear task flows, and then normal task flow. So this is the normal task flow, or which is a standard task flow. So linear task flows in real time. So I never used it. Okay, so it is not advisable. But with our because for every task flow where we'll be having a specific kind of a requirements. So when we have a specific kind of a requirements, then we don't need to use this linear task flow as we cannot customize it. Okay, but with the task flow, traditional task flow where we can customize it. Okay, because in the rest all also right. Parallel with the decision, sequential with decision, single task. All these are traditional task flow only with multiple tasks, along with the multiple tasks. Okay, so now this is the task flow. We create a task flow, there will be start and there will be an end. Okay, now we have to give the task flow name. TF underscore folder name underscore staging. I'm just mentioning it as staging. Okay, we just need to give staging. So then press enter. If you don't press enter, the properties will not change. The name will not change. Okay, now then save it. Once you give the name, then you will have to save it. If you don't save it, it will be still with the task flow one only, the name as. So in between this start and end, we are going to choose the respective task. So what is our requirement? So according to the requirement, we are going to use the tasks. This is not opening. What are in the meantime? So what are the different tasks that we have? Okay. So as I mentioned here, as I shown there, so linear task flow, parallel task with decision, sequential task with decision. Okay. So parallel task is nothing but in the same task flow whatever we have created here. So where we will be using a parallel task. So there is a task called parallel. Okay, where is that? Yeah, here is the task. Just drag and drop here. So where we'll be having a parallel task. So whenever we wanted to execute any mappings in parallel, okay, any mappings in parallel, we are going to use this parallel task, parallel path. Okay, now in the go to parallel path. So by default, two will be there. By default, two paths will be there. If at all you wanted to execute multiple, then you have to use this plus. You have to use this plus icon. How many task flows that how many mappings that you wanted to execute in parallel, those many you can select here. Now once you select there, then what you have to do is you have to get the data task, drag and drop the respective data task like this. So in the data task you will have to select the respective task, which task has to be executed here. So in this data task, which task has to be executed, like that. Like that you will have to execute the task. Okay, so how many jobs that you wanted to execute in parallel, so those many you will have to create. So now here, for example, you don't want to execute multiple. Now you have only these two parallel tasks. Okay, so like that you can create many. Now these two are executed in parallel. Now you wanted to execute one more once after this one. You can keep like this. Okay, so when we keep like this, if any one of them is getting succeeded, this will execute immediately. But when you wanted to set a dependency that once these two are successfully completed, then only this task 3 has to be executed. So then we should add a decision here. Okay, so parallel task is to basically to execute multiple mapping tasks in parallel. That's it. So it is not going to perform any other operations. Okay. Now when we have decision. Now when we have a decision task here, so this decision task we can set the dependency. What kind of, either we have to set a formula or we have to set a field stating that if data task target rows is not equal to 0, first the code is not equal to 0, we can set the dependencies. Okay, so the object name task status, we can keep the task status. If task status has 1 meaning success. Okay, if task status is success, then so it will be having, it contains 1, then it will go here, otherwise it will go here. So this decision task we can set the dependencies, either we can use the field or we can give the formula. So when we create a formula, we can write an expression here, because here we can write a what I can equal to SUCC succeeded or success on meaning success, and for task 1, this is for task 2 equal to 1. If both of them are equal to 1, that meaning if both of them are success, so then it will go here. So we have written a formula here. Now we have mentioned 1 here because in the formula, so this is going to give a result. Okay, so this result, what it is going to do, if it is equal to 1, it is equal to, if both are succeeded, so this is going to give the value as 1. So in the condition, we can keep the specific conditions equals to, starts with, ends with. So there are different options. Okay, there are different requirements. According to the requirements, we will have to use these decision tasks. Okay, but so we'll be having only 2 options. Either we have to use the direct field or we have to use the formula, respective formulas. Now equals to 1. So then again get a data task here. Otherwise, if these 2 are succeeded, then go here. Then if these 2 are otherwise also is there, again it will go here. For that, what we should do? Just put an end here. So put an end here. So once what this decision task is going to do, if this condition satisfies, then it is equals to 1. This one will execute. Otherwise, it will go to end. Okay, so this is about decision task. Decision task is to create a decision. So based on the previous job execution statuses or error codes or number of success rows or failed rows at the source level or target level, depends upon. As per the business requirements, we will have to use the fields or the formula to create a decision. So in the decision, it will be having either contains or equals true or false. If condition is true, it will go to the above flow. Condition is false, it will come to below flow. Let's say if condition is false, we wanted to send an email. So when we wanted to send an email, then we have to use this notification task. In the notification task, we need to keep to whom we have to send it. Do we need to keep anybody in CC? And what is the subject of the email? And edit the body. So we have to write the exact body here. So when we write I this shop, this shops one, the job name we can keep. So we can customize it however we wanted. Job 1 and 2 are failed with below error message. Okay, what is the error message? So we error message here. So automatically records support team IACS. Okay, now when we are keeping like this, the error message by default, so whatever the error message which is coming up, so with that error message of this data task 1, it will just add here. So with this body, the email will be composed. So notification task is going to be used to send an email. So whenever we wanted to send either success email or failure email. Okay, so even this task also, individual level also, if at all we wanted to send an email or the mapping task level, so error handling, we have an option of error handling. Okay, so in the error handling, we have a custom error handling. So on error, on warning, what we should do, on error, what we should do. So warnings we should ignore or suspend the task flow. Error we should ignore, suspend the task flow, or customer error handling. So when we say customer error handling, whenever there is any kind of an error, so we can, if at all we wanted to send a notification, we'll just keep a notification here. So even we cannot even track them. So it will just send an email whenever there is an error. It will send an email and then it will go to the decision. So with the decision, we have to suspend the task or we have to stop the task flows. Or we do also have an option of throw. Okay, so this throw is going to fail the task flow. Okay, now I'm keeping the throw here. So whenever there is any kind of a failure or any error here in the task flow, so first there is a notification task which is going to send an email, then throw is going to fail the task flow. Data task one, fault code. So when you select the fault and code, so whenever there is any fault code is coming up, it will automatically fail it. Okay, so like that. So these are all error handling mechanisms that we are going to use at the task flow level. Because in real time, we are going to, for every mapping where we will be having these options, we will have to use these options. Okay, so for that, what are the different tasks that we have? Okay, throw is to fail the task flow based on certain condition. Notification task is to send an email, send an email to the respective team whenever there is any kind of failure. Parallel task is to execute the number of mappings in parallel. Decision task is to take a decision based on certain conditions. If condition is true, it will go to the above flow. Condition is false, it will come to the below flow. Okay, now once this is succeeded, okay, once this is succeeded, it is equals to 1. We wanted to wait. We wanted to wait for few minutes to execute before executing this particular task. We can use a wait option. We can use a wait task. So in this wait task, we can give how many hours or how many minutes or how many seconds that you will have to wait after this one executed, after the previous transformation executed. So this wait task is to set the waiting period. You can specify a specific time. Once the flow execution is continuously executing, and when it reaches here, so then it looks for time. When we mentioned at specific time, it will look for the time. So at what time this has to be executed? Let's say we executed our job at 12 a.m. Okay, so and the previous transformations got executed within 10 minutes, but this mapping has to be executed at 1 a.m. Now what we should do? We can use and wait with a specific time. Then we can select this 1 a.m. So if at all we wanted to delay, we can delay it. Okay, so then jump task. So basically this jump task is to which we have to jump. Like once it is reaches here, so this jump task is to again when we have to start from here. Okay, when it is failed, so again I'm just keeping a jump here. So this jump to where? Decision task one. So when I'm going to execute, immediately it will put it will go to decision or it will go to data task. Where is the data task? Okay, so it will go to data task. When this is failed, still we want to execute this one. Even though condition false, if you wanted to execute this one, we can select with the jump. Okay, so this jump is to go which place, go to the which place it has to jump. Jump task will be used to jump it to the any other place wherever we have added this jump task. When I add here, so when it reaches the flow, when it is going to reach still here, then it will jump. So jump, wait, and parallel decision, subtask flow. So when we wanted to integrate task flow inside a task flow, then we are going to use subtask flow. Subtask flow is the task which is going to be used to integrate task flow inside a task flow. Now we have to select the subtask flow. We have to select the task flow name. Currently, we don't have any task flows here. So if at all we have any task flow, we can select this task flow here. So subtask flow is to integrate the task flow inside a task flow. Next is command task. So when we wanted to execute any Unix commands, we are going to use command task. What are the input fields? Select the agent group, which is secure agent is that we have to select. So this command task we cannot execute because this needed an Unix environment. Currently we don't have any Unix environment. So this command task is basically input fields. We have a script one. So basically, we will have to mention the scripts, whatever the Unix command that we wanted to write. So we have to write in a shell script dot sh on the notepad, write the Unix script, Unix commands there, save it with dot sh extension, and use that script name here. In which location it is there, in which path, under path slash file name. So path slash file. So under which path, what is the file name that we wanted to execute. If at all we wanted to send an input arguments to the init script, yes, we can send the input arguments. So this work directory is basically, so instead of giving the path here, we can give the path here. Here we have an input arguments. Then we'll be having output fields. If at all we wanted to get these output fields, at what time this script is started, when it is executed, what is exit code, status, error, if at all we wanted to capture them, if at all we wanted to use this error while sending an email, if at all there is any failure, then we can use this error option. So here also, because it is also having error handling, we can go with the custom, and if the command task is failed, then we can use a notification. Then we can use a notification. We can just add a throw because this is a fail. Okay, next one is file watcher. So these file watchers are basically, if at all we wanted to look for any files. Okay, so this is to set the dependency between the previous task flows. Okay, so if the previous task flow is getting completed and we wanted to set the dependencies, then we are going to use this file watcher. So file watcher task, which is going to wait for a file availability in the certain directory. If the file is available, then it will get triggered. If file is not available, it will be still running mode until unless if it is going to get the file, it will be in running mode. If file is there, then it will be succeeded. I'll just show this. Just try to show this. Let's say I'm just keeping a file watcher here. So file watch task. Data transfer mask application. So here there will be a task. File watcher task will be there. You have to create a file watcher. Okay, somewhere it will be available here in the task actually. So in the task where we'll be having file watcher. So in the file watcher task we will have to select. So this file watcher task, what it is going to do, when we are going to execute this, it will be waiting for the file in a certain directory. Once file is available, then only it will trigger. Otherwise, it will not trigger. In real-time laptops, if you can see, it will be there. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just check in my office laptop and I'll take the screenshot at what exact location where we can create the file watcher task. Okay, I'll show that so that accordingly you can use it because some of the options will be disabled here. Okay, so these are all about actually tasks and task flows. So we have all the information in the task flow. what is linear task flow, what is parallel task, parallel with decision, sequential, sequential with decision, what are the different assignment. Assignment task I did not explain because I wanted to explain this particular assignment task when I'm going to explain about the parameters, concept of parameters, notification task, command task, file watch task, subtask flow, decision, parallel task, jump, wait, throw, end. Okay, so all the task information is there in the document, whatever I have explained. Just you can follow them and let me know if at all you have any questions. Okay, any questions? Anyone having any questions?
No, Bhaskar.
Okay, fine. Just go through this recording and let me know if at all you have any questions or anyone having any questions. Okay, so tomorrow I'll put a message, request everyone to join in the tomorrow's class so that I'll explain ACD type 2.
Okay, Bhaskar. Bhaskar, one